Two guys of Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Enough people in the audience asked us, and so we are bringing it back just in time for the 2024 Vikings and football season. Mackey and Judd's Monday statements.
To the statement cave.
Yes. Although, isn't it kind of weird that Batman would, like, drug whoever's sitting shotgun? He'd, like, slip a little something in your drink, or he'd sprinkle some
I thought Robin
pixie
was
dust.
shotgun in the TV show.
Well, in the TV show, Robin was. But then when Batman, like in the Michael Keaton movies,
I've never seen those, yeah.
When he took, like, Vicky Vale back,
I gotcha.
He'd, like, drug you so you didn't know where you were going. Of course, now there'd be, like, a GPS on your phone. You
There's a new. I love Batman's great. I love all the Batmans. But there's a new edition of the Batman the Animated Series that they've relaunched on Prime with J.J. Abrams as the main showrunner, and has a lot of the themes from the original animated series from the early 2000s, which was a staple of mine as a kid. Very good. Very, very good. My only complaint is they made Alfred, like, I like Alfred to be a little bit more, like, buttoned up. They made Alfred out to be this, like, blob of a human, and I'm like, you're doing my guy Alfred very wrong here.
No.
Alfred deserved a lot better.
Alfred's like Secret Service, man. Like, he's put together.
Who's that?
Okay.
Who's
No, I
Alfred?
don't know.
Who's Alfred?
Yeah, I didn't know.
What?
Wow.
What do you mean?
You didn't know who Alfred was in Batman?
Uh-oh.
That shocks me.
I know Batman.
There's a statement.
Robin. Catwoman? Correct? She's
Yep.
in there?
You're doing great so far.
I didn't know. I did. So here's my question. What does the Statements Mobile look like?
Boy, I think that's a good question. I know what it looks like. It looks like the Finch Home Solutions van, Judd.
Oh my God, that's the Statements Mobile? That's outstanding. Cody Finch will be thrilled to know that he will be showing up in the Finch Mobile to fix any electrical problems, big or small, that you might have. But I also want to tell you about the very exciting news that Finch is now a certified dealer and installer of Gemstone Lights, which is permanent holiday lighting. And now you're saying, Sports Dad, how does this apply? And I'm going to tell you right now, you know what? How would you like not to have to get up on the roof every year, especially when it's cold outside, because your roof has already got the lighting installed? And you're like, well, Sports Dad, my wife's going to love that. But what about me? I got the answer for you. That lighting, it can be changed. So let's say that the Vikings have a big game coming up on Friday. Switch on the lights. They're all purple. They're all purple. You never have to worry about crawling up on the roof again. And you have lights that she will love for Christmas, and you too, but also will reflect, if you're a Gopher fan, if you're a Vikings fan. 612-357-2604, FinchHomeSolutions.com. FinchHomeSolutions.com. Don't thank me, thank them for being outstanding at what they do.
Okay, it's a Statements Monday. Monday Statements on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd and the Score North YouTube channel. I'll fire off the first one, and then we'll see where this show takes us. Back after a long hiatus. So Mike Sando's quarterback tiers came out. We did a deep dive on them on Purple Daily today. And it puts all 30 starting quarterbacks minus the rookies into different tiers, talking to 50 current executives like general managers, head coaches, offensive coordinators, etc. So here's my first statement. It's actually kind of a hot take blended with a statement. If the Vikings had any of the top 16 quarterbacks on Mike Sando's quarterback tier list, they'd be considered likely to make a deep playoff run in 2024. So I'm just going to rapid fire read the first 16 quarterbacks on this list, because so much of our opinion of this 2024 Vikings team, rightfully so, is shaped by Sam Darnold. We're not quite sure what he's going to do.
Sure.
So I want you to envision each of these names, instead of Sam Darnold, this guy is the Vikings quarterback.
Sure.
Would they make a deep playoff run, or would they be likely or favored to make a deep playoff run? I'm going to rattle these off. You tell me, like, at the end of me listing all these quarterbacks, if I'm right or wrong. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow as Vikings quarterback, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, if he stays upright,
Right.
C.J. Stroud, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins, my guy, Jordan Love, Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence.
How many of those?
I'm saying any of those 16, and instead of being 6.5 over under, we're talking 10. We're talking compete for the division and make a run in the playoffs, if not something far better.
Well, for sure the top half. Rodgers, I don't know, because he's like Kirk coming back off an Achilles, and they're both old as dirt. So their age makes me suspicious. But the majority of that list, I would agree with you. The majority, there's a couple guys I'm not positive about, but certainly the top of that list, yes. The top of that list, probably, if you remove Rodgers, the top 10, yeah.
So if Trevor Lawrence was the Vikings quarterback,
I'm a fan there. I'm just saying the top 10. Once you get past 10, there are some names that I agree with and disagree with, but the top 10, I probably agree with 9 of them.
Yeah, I'm
not Rodgers. I just don't know.
Yeah, how much? I think the majority of the top 10 guys, yes, I would say they're Super Bowl favorites. Once we get past 10 through 17, I got some questions on some of those dudes. So
yeah.
And
what if Kirk was right now? Old Kirk, one last hurrah, like everybody wanted, right? Kirk, just come back for one more year. Don't be greedy, dude.
Right.
Just come back for one more year. Do it the right way.
Right.
I think 6.5 would be more like 8.5 or 9.5. And
I'll take your question and flip it. If Kirk Cousins had said that, you know what? I'll come back. You guys have done right. You pay me millions. Fair contract. Pick your figures. Pick your guarantees. But it's a 1-year contract. And that means you don't draft J.J. McCarthy.
Oh, out.
Okay.
Was that your question?
Yes.
Would I sign up for that?
Yes.
No, I wanted this is and this was the deal breaker with Kirk was, hey, we'd love, and by the way, I even said he'd be the perfect bridge quarterback if his ego could. He comes off as like he's there's no ego there. One of the biggest egos in the entire league resides inside Kirk Cousins' Falcons helmet.
And put it right in that thing.
It would have if he was the 1-year bridge and you didn't have to eat a bunch of dead cap beyond 2024, which was always the hang up that both sides couldn't get past. This team would be 100% in the mix to make a run in the NFC if you could keep him healthy, another year in Kevin O'Connell's system. So, yeah, that's my first statement. Welcome back, statements. Let's go.
I love that this is back. I'll start with this one off the jump here. We are entering the best time in the sports calendar year, in my money. This is the absolute best time. We have college football starting next Saturday, and even though I don't love the college football, I get the pageantry. I've always respected the pageantry and the lore of it. I get that.
And all the new games and matchups and stuff, and the conferences.
Saturdays are great.
Yeah. So that'll be fun.
McAfee getting sloshed on national TV for 2 straight days in Ireland.
And I will say, I'll agree with Stu Gatz here. I want my college football season and all my seasons to start here in the States and end in the States. Why do we have to start a game in Europe?
Oh.
Can we just start it here?
Baseball
with time,
again. Cubs next year.
Why?
Well, at least like baseball does it at 3:00 in the morning because they're playing in the Pacific or something.
Yeah.
At least college football does it in a way where you can watch the game. But
we got college football, NFL's around the corner. We got stretch runs in baseball, and then before we know it, NHL and NBA seasons fire up in October. I love this time of year. This is going to be a blast to watch and cover, obviously. The Twins are trying to secure a playoff spot. We get to watch Vikings football again. I think that this is the best time of the year in terms of the sports calendar. I love this time.
It's this in March, right?
Yeah, I mean
March is fun.
March is fine, but there's something about you add the hooded sweatshirt, crisp weather.
Oh yeah, this is great. I'm not debating Dex. I'm just saying those are the two choices, right?
But I would say in terms of the sports watching, because you love NFL off season, and I think that plays a little bit more into your factor, which is fine. Like I love the news too, but in terms of the actual on the field product, this trumps that.
Yeah,
not even close.
Yeah, that's probably true. And I still am mesmerized, especially by like the opening 2 days of the college basketball tournament. Yeah, which is funny because I don't really follow it much now. It's become this, but it's still like that Thursday when you get the CBS themes on 11 a.m. Welcome to some godforsaken building in Boise. It is But yes, this is a great time. And the Thursday, the thing that I think one of the biggest things that the National Football League did as far as setting itself just apart was when they went to the Thursday night game.
The standalone, start the season.
Super Bowl champion,
pomp,
in your face.
Yes.
It's on.
Chris Collinsworth sliding in
because there's
all of our DMs.
It's always been popular, but there's no question, like, if you trace the last 20 years, there have been certain things that they've done where it's like, this is where they separated more and more and more. And that Thursday night game, I think, was one of the first ones where it's like, okay, this is special. It's the most special opening day in sports, which in my childhood would have been blasphemy because it used to be baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, so back in your day, I'm trying to think when I was a kid, too, because the Thursday night opener was like 20 years ago they started it. They would just start games on a Sunday at noon would be the first football games,
It
right?
was the Colts and somebody. I want to say the first one was like circa 2003 because I remember four because I was in Green Bay covering the Packers. And I remember going home and thinking, oh, this is sort of cool.
Which network? It wasn't NBC then, though, was it? Was it maybe ESPN might have done?
That's a good question.
Because it was like a Monday night football. It was the Monday night crew would do the Thursday game. I'm pretty sure.
Was it? I don't even remember.
ABC, ESPN, something like that. I don't fully remember,
but Dex is right. I mean, I'm not quarreling with your statement at all. It's a great time of year.
Yeah. Was that your statement?
No. I've got one.
Okay, I don't want to steal your spot.
I feel like the Twin Show was great, but it was, it was sort of salty because they're not.
Are we going to argue about Kyle Farmer and Matt Wallner again here?
I'm just saying that so far I feel like, PD was good and I was in a fine mood, but I feel like there's been a lot of pessimistic Judd. So I'd like to bring some positive Judd. I know this is rare.
Wow.
But I'd like to, and this sort of crystallized for me as I listened to O'Connell on with the broadcast team on Saturday in the third quarter, which we talked about on PD. It was fantastic. But here's my statement. I am more eager and optimistic about this Vikings season than I think most fans are, which is very rare. And here's why. The quarterback could be a disaster. I don't know. But I think we're going to look back on 24 if this thing goes as planned, okay? And I'm going to stick with my contention. I think that J.J. McCarthy's going to come back in 25, be absolutely fine. And I think you might have hit on a franchise QB. When Mike Sando's tiers come out in 3 years, I think that there's a chance McCarthy very high in tier 2, maybe in tier 1. I think we're going to look back at this season in particular and say this was the building block, though. I know McCarthy can't play, and it sucks. It's a shame. But look at what they do have, and look at what they're doing. And there are people that hate this, but I do believe in sports culture. And if you look at what the Vikings are doing here, 2 years ago, Kwesi and O'Connell came in, and they basically took the guts of the previous regime's team, and they won, but that really wasn't their team, right? Last year was still Kirk, and I know O'Connell probably did want Kirk back, but the thing with Kirk was he wasn't the future. Like, he was never going to be again, 6 more years of Kirk. J.J. McCarthy is the future, but more importantly, there's a lot of pieces now and building blocks being put into this team who are going to be playing this season, who are the future. I am not pessimistic. They might not be good. They very well might not be a playoff team. But I think, we talk about just one before we die. And yes, when you're my age, that's a year-to-year proposition potentially. But that being said, if you do win one, it's usually not just some fluke pop-up, right? Like, oh my God, the Vikings got hot and won a Super Bowl. I know it's happened, but there's usually elements that you see built. And I feel like this is a very important year in building the building. I know that the penthouse is not going to be there, but I think you're going to be putting a lot of very important foundational pieces together. So I am more optimistic and eager to watch this season than I think a lot of the fan bases.
Well, let's take your statement and what you just said too about this is a really fun year to watch. Just like what do they have as a building block to put J.J. McCarthy on top of? Well, I asked you guys because my statement was I think half of the quarterbacks starting right now, if 1 through 16, if you were to replace Sam Darnold with one of those 16, any of them, the Vikings would be favored to win double-digit games and perhaps make a deep playoff run. So if I'm right about that, that's a compliment to the roster being what it is. That it's a little bit like 15 years ago where you knew you had something base-wise 2008 Vikings going into 2009. You just needed something other than a Tavares Jackson or a career backup Gus Frerotte. So what I'm really saying then is if J.J. McCarthy can become just a top half of the league quarterback pretty quickly, what Brock Purdy became in San Francisco, what Kirk Cousins has been, Jordan Love second half of the season, then this team can pretty immediately in 2025 start to do some damage, maybe win 10 or 11 games and start their journey into the month of January. So yeah, I mean, for all those reasons, it is not a lost season at all whatsoever.
No, and I think it's going to be an incredibly important foundational year. And there is nobody on this team who is going to say, we probably will suck.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no,
I'm optimistic.
Optimistic Judd. Optimistic Judd. Look at him.
I think it's
ready
interesting.
To wave that flag.
I think it's great.
Look at him. Okay. I've got something that really has nothing to do with sports here, but this is cool. Anything can happen on statements.
So do I.
Monday statements. We've officially gone too far with Minnesota State Fair foods, folks.
Oh, that's perfect.
I saw people tweeting and posting on Instagram, bragging, quite frankly, about waiting in line 45 minutes for deep fried ranch nuggets. And I love food. I love deep fried things. I love ranch. I love all those things.
I love ranch.
Are you throwing your lovely wife under the bus there, Dex?
I'm not gonna pour on your statement, but my statement, next one was, I'm done waiting in long lines. I hate waiting in lines, especially long.
Why do you
ones
go to the fair
that don't have a long payoff? Because there's other things at the fair you don't have to wait in line for. Not like I waited in that Lulu's line for 30 minutes last Friday.
That's wild. So yeah, it's Lulu's Public House, and I'm sure it's worth. This is where I would try it if somebody else just handed me one for sure, and I'd probably enjoy it. It's ranch dressing filling made with ranch seasoning, buttermilk, and cream cheese in a panko shell, deep fried and then dusted with ranch powder in case you didn't get enough ranch flavoring in there.
Yep.
But where do we draw the line here when it comes to waiting for a food? And then I will say this, jumping the shark and going too far. Where do we draw the line with deep frying dressings? Or are we stopping at ranch?
Oh,
Are we deep frying French dressing now? Are we deep frying Thousand Island? When does it end? Deep fried strawberry vinaigrette.
It doesn't end.
Deep fried Caesar dressing. Where?
Once that door's open, that door's open.
As a society, we have to draw the line somewhere here. Is what I'm saying.
There comes a point in your life too where I lived in North Loop for 5 years. I loved living in North Loop. But towards the end, the last year or two of it, if I had to wait in a line to get into a bar, I'm not going to that bar.
Yeah.
I refuse to do it.
Once you hit that age.
If it's the airport and there's certain rules we have to follow because this is how it works in the airport. It stinks, but it's part of it. If I am electing to wait in a line for a food item or a drink or atmosphere, that is a personal choice that I have made, and I will not be making that choice. I will not. I refuse to.
We used to, in the early days of the Mackey and Judd radio show, 1500 ESPN, pour one out. And it was some promotional thing where we were giving away free T-shirts at the top of every even hour. So noon, 2, 4, and there was a table off to the left of our broadcast booth where we would have 100 free T-shirts every 2 hours to give away. And we were selling, it was just 1500 ESPN, literally just a station branded shirt. We were selling the same shirt for $12, 15 feet around the other side of the booth. And people would wait for 45 minutes to an hour. And it was great because they'd wait and they would watch our show and stuff, but they would wait in line for a free T-shirt for an hour that you could buy for $12 and just be on with your life. And that was the ultimate societal test of time versus money. Is waiting an hour worth $12 for that same shirt that you could get the hour back in exchange for the cash? Oh, so I'm kind of with Declan on this one.
Oh, I love this. if I may continue the state fair path on statements, the state fair needs a capacity at which they no longer sell tickets until people leave. There is no earthly reason to put that many humans who are sweating and God knows what else in an area. What they need to do, speaking of Dex's things, is at capacity, they need to say until somebody leaves, you cannot come in. It would create, there is no reason, there is no earthly reason in 2024 to try to jam as many humans as possible. It's not safe. It's not sanitary.
Well, I think it's deemed safe and sanitary enough because don't they have inspectors and
right? But I'm saying it's not
guardrails for those.
Well, no. Well, first of all, I don't know that. Like what you just said, I don't know. But they were bragging. Well, on Thursday, the first day of the fair, 190,000 people. There was a record. You shouldn't be proud of that record. It's too many people. It's too many people. We need limits on capacity.
I'm a people person.
I'm not a people person. That's too many people. I have no interest in seeing that. They need to draw a line at what capacity is to keep people out and then form a line. And if you want to go get in that line and it goes all the way back to 94, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, that I know. I am not going to, my car is not going to be stopped because there's a capacity limit and there's people wrapped around Snelling Avenue.
That's the problem. You have to buy a ticket in advance, though. Like there'd be no walk-ups.
Then that's okay.
And then there'd be a secondary market. There'd be like a StubHub market for state
fair. I don't care what it
tickets.
is. Get some of the damn bodies out of the state fair. I don't care how you guys can take it from here. I don't like this whole thing. We put 200,000 people in on Thursday. How great is that? It's not great.
This obviously sounds like we're crapping on the Minnesota State Fair with our line talk and Judd's just angst towards the great Minnesota get-together. I love the fair. I'm going to try to go at least one more time on Thursday when the Twins are off because I genuinely love it. And I stick to my regular things. Okay, I get my garlic fries that I used to make. I get my Prano Pups. I might try a goofy beer, but I just love the vibe and the people watching. It's a great area. I love the fair. No problems with the fair.
Target Field is that for me, and that's it. I do not need fairgrounds.
Well, it's good because you can go to Target Field all throughout this week. The Twins playing the Bravos. They got a couple more series left before they leave town.
Blue Jays.
And you can get tickets. The Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Twins.com/tickets. And then we have some upcoming promotions later this week. Let's see here. City Connect Tote Bag Night on August 30th. Be one of the first 5,000 fans at Target Field.
What date's that?
And we'll see it's August 30th.
Hold on.
City Connect Tote Bag.
Okay, that's
this is one for
Friday
Judd
night.
too. September 1st, Barbie Game Day. Special ticket package includes your ticket to the game and an exclusive Barbie-inspired Twins pink crossbody bag. Learn more at twins.com/Barbie.
Where'd you get that?
The giveaway on Friday.
Oh.
It's pretty nice. A little Carlos.
But I can't wear them because it completely goes against the Mackey and Judd rules of jerseys.
Where it has to be ironic, funny, or the player has to be older than you.
This isn't funny.
Well, it'd be funny at some point. Hopefully
not. A
not.
medium and an extra large here. So
you got some gifts to give away to your sports children.
I don't have
twins.com/tickets.
That's the problem. I don't have any.
I don't think that's a problem for you.
Nieces are older and some kid did come up. God bless him. If you are watching now, thank you. A kid came up to the press box on Friday and said hi, and I'm like hi, and then he came back with a baseball and said, "Will you sign this?"
In fact, I have a statement off that in just a second because I saw that too. Mike Russo put that out.
It was very nice.
But we are giving away also on the Score North app a 75-inch Roku Pro Series 4K TV that automatically adjusts color and sharpness for your shows. $1,800 value. We're giving it away at the end of the month. You can register to win it on the Score North app under Listener Rewards. Okay, my statement here is I guess it's more of a question to you, Judd. What would newspaper man Judd Zulgad have said about 2024 sports dad version Judd Zulgad that's being summoned to sign autographs in public based on his YouTube popularity?
Yeah. Attention whore. I would have called myself a definite 100% attention whore. Yeah.
I mean, Judd literally has people approaching him for autographs, people walking up.
I had some guy who was drunk.
Nervously walking up at the fair.
Stop in front of the broadcast booth. So I'm in the main press box, and he is like, let's say, in front of where Provis sits. and he just yells, "Sports Dad!" And I didn't hear him the first time, and he yells, "Sports Dad!" I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And the rest of the press box is like, "You're an attention whore."
Does the rest of the press box have? Because sometimes I feel like
I don't think they have any.
Because we're not like on
anymore.
traditional media, really.
I don't think they have any patience for me anymore.
They think that you're just like a cast off of AM radio.
But this young man who came up and asked for my to which I signed it. Being a Minnesota sports fan is never easy, and then I signed my name.
I love it.
You wrote
I gave him a little advice.
Baseball.
Yeah, I took one side of the
Being
baseball.
a Minnesota sports
I
fan.
put MN,
okay.
so I didn't
A
spell
lot
out
of
Minnesota.
characters. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I
You're
mean,
like-
the
Did
kid
you
asked
go-
for an autograph, and I figured it's time for Sports Dad to give some advice.
Avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan.
So did you, if the four seam, if you were holding a four seam, did you go long ways then? I don't have a ball with me right now.
I got one right here. So
Show me where you signed this. I want to see. No, I'm curious.
right up there.
Oh wow, so you got all that. That
Being an MN
Being
sports fan
MN
is
sports
tough.
fan is not easy.
Judd.
is not
Yeah.
easy.
This is actually a twin signed baseball from 1980, I believe.
Is your signature as pristine as, say,
No,
like
it's
Harmon
terrible.
Killebrew?
I told you guys this before. No, it's terrible. I tried to sign it nice. Like I tried to sign the J, and
But the J and the Z, though, are pretty, like, you can pretty much J scribble Z. and
I
people
do,
are
but
gonna
I mean,
get the
I
gist,
feel
right?
bad too because it's like you can't read it then, and it's like this
Yeah.
kid was, and I mean it was very.
Or do you sign it the sports dad, or do you sign it?
I didn't sign it the Sports Dad. I thought perhaps I should have. I don't know, but I mean it was a very flattering thing, and look, we especially appreciate the kids that watch us, and there are a lot. So it was as cool for me as it was for him.
Dude, we got I think it was an email or a tweet, and I can't remember. I have to dig through. It was somebody emailing about Vikings Vent Line. Said, I kind of miss the old radio version of Vikings Vent Line because it started off as a radio postgame show on an AM radio station. He said it was like crusty old guys just calling to complain.
That makes one
And
of
he
us.
goes, now it's only 23-year-olds that are jumping on this. He goes, I want to bring some crustiness back to
You're welcome.
Vent
Watch
Line.
the whole show. Bob from Jersey calls from his hot tub. He's yelling. We got plenty
Pennsylvania.
of crusty.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. I don't know. Whatever Bob is. Yeah, I was gonna say Bob's as crusty as anyone who used to call the show on radio.
Establish the run.
And he's hammered.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Any final statements from
yeah.
you guys?
I got one. My statement is Glen Powell is the hottest man in Hollywood. Saturday night, my wife and I come home from dinner. We watched Twisters. Finally got around to watching Twisters. Watched
Is
it
it
at
good?
home. Great movie.
It's long, right?
It's like 2 hours. It's
Too long.
I wouldn't classify it as like too long.
Doesn't need to
I
be 2
still
hours.
Feels a
don't really,
little self-important for a Twister sequel to be 2 hours. Like, let's.
and
get
I
to
don't
it.
truly know what the plot of the movie is, what they're trying to achieve.
Okay.
I will say I probably should have saw this in theaters because you could tell it was probably a pretty badass theater experience. My ways of watching TV provide me with some movies to watch, so I watched Twisters last night or on Saturday night. And Glen Powell, man, he's on fire. I loved him in Top Gun Maverick. There's a great rom-com back in the day, Set It Up. That's a little older, like 2018, that I really, really like. Twisters has been great. Anyone
but you.
Phenomenal role. I loved him in that. And I am confident in saying this. If that man walked into my house, my wife would go with him. He is number one
Oh, yeah,
on
you'd have
her
no
list.
chance.
It's
Yeah.
not even close.
And you'd understand it.
I would understand.
It's like
I would
Clooney.
not. I couldn't
If
fight
Clooney
it.
came to my house, I'd be like, I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
to the bar,
I-
Park Tavern. See you later. Bye.
I couldn't fight it, and I wouldn't fight it.
Yeah.
You know what's
that's true.
funny? When it's a celebrity, because my wife's, it's been The Rock for a long time, although he's kind of aging a little bit now.
getting older, yeah.
This is like more of a 10 years ago thing.
So
But when it's a celebrity, it's kind of a funny, just like, oh yeah, of course.
What if it's your best friend?
What if she comes? What if she comes home? And she's like, boy, there's a cashier at Whole Foods
Yeah.
down the street. man.
Unbelievable.
If that guy ever asked me out.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, it was
got
good.
one-
The,
yeah.
the movie was good. Good movie.
I got one more. It's breaking news, but it's mildly important, and that is this: Jaron Hall has made the Vikings 53, no questions asked, and here's why. Our friend Tom Pelissero tweeting this Important note, he tweets, as teams construct their initial 53-man rosters. NFL teams were informed that the NFLPA vetoed the revised emergency third quarterback rule that would have allowed teams to elevate a bona fide quarterback from the practice squad an unlimited number of times. So the rule has reverted to last year, which says the emergency third QB must be on the 53-man roster, not an elevation.
When did this
just happened?
I feel like this is like a big deal. Did this just happen now, or is it just being reported?
Tom just tweeted it, so that's a great question. I don't know.
So and by the way, the Vikings, as we record this, have announced some cuts, but the full round is usually Tuesday. So that would indicate Jaren Hall probably making the 53, right? Yeah.
I mean, you'd be playing with fire.
Interesting. There you go.
So breaking news on statements, but the State Fair stuff, yeah. Let's put a lid on that sucker, okay?
Monday Statements is back here on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd. Got Purple Daily, Score North Twin Show, and our Purple Daily spin-off show is firing back up. Meat and Potatoes, a new edition last week, and Before I Die, you can check that out with Jesse Pierce and Miles Gorham and Ross Brendel as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow for all sorts of Vikings-related fun on Purple Daily, and also Trevor Plouffe Tuesday on the Score North Twin Show.